I mentioned it earlier, but Ranger was eliminated earlier in a best of one by one of our players right here, by an American Zerg player. So quickly just double check that he's not from Canada. One moment. I don't want to get the countries wrong. Oh, my mistake. Not from America. I think he lives in America, but spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the best Protoss in all of Canada, representing Team Basilisk. It is Trigger. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponent. We have the pink Zerg player from Hong Kong. The pink Zerg representing Team Gosu. It is Koht. Going for a pull first. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. So, just to bring everyone up to speed, you may be wondering, hold on, didn't Trigger just lose? Why are we casting him again? Well, this bracket is double elimination, which means the players have an extra life. It means that there is a lower bracket, so Trigger has a chance at revenge. Nice is waiting in the grand finals. He's waiting for the winner of this series. Whether it's a Zerg or a Protoss, Nice has some time to himself to chill out, to relax, hydrate his Hydras, stretch his Roaches, and massage all of his Marines as he awaits the next challenger. Meanwhile, shout out to Koht. We haven't been able to cast him today, but we have casted him in the past. He did take down Ranger 1-0, did eliminate him from the tournament, and now he's here in the lower bracket finals to face off against Trigger, and I believe this is a rematch from a previous game in this series. Meanwhile, an interesting opener from Koht. He does go for a pull first. And we see why. Interesting. So he waits. Koht waited for the probe to leave before he did throw down that hatchery. It was a pool gas hatch opener, but Trigger is going to be rescouting. The Ling's going to try and stop him, but no, Koht was a little bit out of position. He doesn't get a kill in the probe, and Trigger scouts the Roach Warren. Oof. Unfortunate there by Koht. The goal there from his two Lings was to deny the scout. He wasn't able to, and now Trigger can prepare back at home. But a shout out to Koht because he's breaking up the PvPs. I was concerned that we were literally going to cast nothing but PvPs today. It was going to be Trigger versus Ranger in the lower bracket finals, and you know, thankfully we're getting a little bit of diversity, getting a little bit of Zerg, just a little bit there. And we'll see if our Zerg player here can cause a bit of an upset. Roaches in production. The Adept is looking to threaten a shade in towards the main base, and it will commit. Will force some units to be staying back at home, and could even get some economic damage as well. Oof. Ooh, as one drone is going to be going down. A Roach Worm will clean this up. Meanwhile, across the map, we have one shield battery, we have two, we have three. 3 shield batteries. Stalkers being chronoed out as we speak, as we did get into a second gateway. And behind this, we can even go for a Stargate or a Robo for either Void Ray or Immortal production. We have a second pylon as well, just to make sure that there's no Artosis pylon that can go down and just end the game. And Koht is going to be committing to the all-in. We have Ravagers, we have the Roaches as well, but the shield batteries hold strong. They hold fast. Oh, and we even have a third pylon on the way as well, just in case. This wall is solid, and Koht knows that. He's droning. He's backing off. He is droning up back at home instead. He's attempting to transition out of this. But it's going to be a rough transition because Trigger is so far ahead economically. We'll see if he can pull this off. A couple of biles are going to be connecting, which is nice, but we have shield batteries to make up for that. Like, they regenerate all the shields that are being lost right now. Koht's waiting for his opponent to overextend, and there we go. The Lings are rushing on in, but no, they don't get the surround. Trigger was quick to pull back. Behind this, Koht is taking a third base. He's attempting to saturate as best he can. But the movement here from Trigger is too good. He does bypass the Lings. He focuses down every single Ravager, every single Roach as well. The Lings may clean up these Stalkers, but that was an efficient trade for Trigger. Okay, the units lost tab here. Evening gas. 20 Lings going down already. My god. Trigger is working towards immortal production. It looks like Trigger is going for a 2-base all-in. He throws down 2 gateways in his main. There we go. There's a 3rd gateway as well, and there's a 4th. Including the 2 here at the natural. 6 gates. We mentioned it in the PvP, and it's applicable here as well in the PvZ. This is going to be a big all-in. Trigger knows he has the advantage. He doesn't want to drag this out. He doesn't want to take this slow and take a 3rd base when there's no need to, as he's going to be moving out with a very terrifying army. As the Stalker sentries are moving out, this is spotted by Koht. Koht did have a spotter Ling in position, so he's fully aware of what is coming his way. And he's going to attempt to defend back at home. Do have the lair finishing up, which won't quite be helping him. We have +1 range on the way as well, but I don't know if we're going to be able to survive long enough to actually get into this upgrade, but we're going to try to. We are going to try. As, did I say 6 gates? I meant to say 7. So we have a 7th gateway on the way. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. Trigger has arrived. 3rd base is completely isolated. Koht is going to try to push in, but the force fields do zone away these queens. Here we go. The queens again. They want to try to take part in this fight, but they just cannot. Zealots pushing away the roaches, pushing away the Lings. Trigger just reinforcing with slow lots. Doesn't even need charge. And it's going to be waddling up into the main base. Oof. Force fields, they just mean that the queens, they cannot escape. There is no way out. And with the warp in into the natural, it looks like Koht just doesn't have enough. GG gets called, and Trigger will take game number 1. GG. Unfortunately, Koht did go for a very aggressive opener, but he got scouted. He was trying to hide it from his opponent. He was trying to keep that Roach Warren hidden for as long as he could, but alas, he could not in the end. The probe of Trigger was able to slip in, confirm the Roach Warren, and Trigger responded beautifully with his 2nd gateway, with his shield batteries, his pylons, his stalker control, his sentries and force fields. Had everything he needed to defend. And then we had a very decisive follow-up as well from Trigger to go into that 2-base all-in, just to capitalize on his advantage. Really solid stuff. But now we have our 2nd game, and oh, let's go. We actually haven't seen this map today. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Game 2 is going to be taking place on Neo Humanity. It's the smallest map in the map pool. And as we get into this, I wasn't able to mention it earlier, but a massive shout out to C Grail. C Grail in the chat for the 100 bits. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. All the money that we make here, all the money that we make on Twitch does go towards the tournaments that we do fund. Tournaments like this, like the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, like the Sparkling Tuna Cup, like Grand Platypus Open as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Gracias, buddy. Gracias. Quack, quack. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the Canadian Protoss player representing Team Basilisk, leading this series 1-0, 1 game away from advancing onto the grand finals. It is Trigger. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Zerg player from Hong Kong representing Team Gosu. Ooh. Down in this series but not out, it is Koht. And I'm surprised Koht goes for a hatch first. Let's go. I'm not gonna lie, loading into Neo Humanity, I assumed that we would have a 12 pool. I was waiting for a pool first. I was waiting for an early pool timing, but no, it is going to be a hatch gas pool opener here from Koht instead. Oh. Is going to be A little bit different, a lot more standard, a lot more economic. You'd love to see it. And I'm ready to see what Koht is made for. Made for? Made of, even. And made for as well, I guess. Question mark. I want to see him in a more standard game against Trigger. I want to see what he has to offer and how he compares to him, because obviously Trigger is the favorite player, and Koht is more of a semi-pro player. He's an up-and-comer in the region, is on a pro team, is GM, of course, is working his way up the ladder, but has yet to break into the upper echelons of pro play in the North American region, or even in the Asian region. So we'll see if Koht can bring something to the table here to slip up Trigger. We'll see, Papi, we'll see. As for the time being, nothing too crazy. Koht, he pulls out of gas once he does get link speed, so just being very efficient with his opener. Meanwhile, Trigger is having fun. Trigger, he's going for a robo opener, which is not standard whatsoever. Typically, we should be seeing a Stargate or even a Twilight Council. With a robo opener, Trigger has a couple of options available. He can go into a 2-base all-in with Immortals, or he can have some more fun, go for a fast robotic spay, and he can go for either a Disruptor drop or even a Colossus drop. The drop comes from the Prism. You make a Warp Prism, you get Prism speed, and you can zoom around and, you know, drop to your heart's content. Oh boy, so we'll see which one Trigger does go for. It's a little bit greedy. It can be difficult to pull off just because you have very little tech to work with in the early game, and there we go. It's going to be Immortal production. He's going to be setting up for a 2-base all-in. Oh boy. Ay, ay, ay. Immortals being produced very early on. We have Sentries on the way. If you're an old school fan of StarCraft, then think Soul Train, very Soul Train-esque. Immortals, Sentries, 2-base all-in. Shout out to Parting back in the day. Hope to see him again in the future, as we're just throwing down a massive gateway explosion. 5 gates on the way, 1 already done, 6 in total for the time being. And these are going to be vanilla gateway units. So 7 gates, Papi, 7 gates. Can we get to 8? Can we see 8 gates? Show me, Papi, show me. But with this, we have very little gas to work with, so this is going to be an Immortal slow Zealot push, because you don't need charge. Slow lots are all you need. Fun fact, because we have very little gas to work with, we're actually not going to have too many sentries, so scratch that. Not Soul Train-esque. This is going to be very Haas-esque. Haas popularized this build a couple of years ago. I want to say maybe 2 years ago. Haas just an Immortal slow lot all in, and it can do a surprising amount of damage. You're like, yo, but without charge, is that even good? The answer is yes. It's pretty good. Here we go. The Immortal has arrived. The slow lots are here. Koht has been droning happily. Is supply block? No, now is not the time to be supply blocked. Not like this. He's got queens to defend. He's got lings coming in for the surround. But the queens are being zoned away by the army. We do have a massive warp in of Zealots. We do have the hot pickup micro as well to keep the Immortal alive. Oh, and the queens have been doing a great job at transfusing, but they're running out of energy, and the queens are falling one after the other. Once again, the Immortal does get saved. Up! Up! God, he wants it! He wants the Immortal! And he's not going to get it. He will not get the Immortal. There's only 2 queens remaining. 4 queens already went down. At least Koht isn't supply blocked anymore, but that's the least of his worries. As the slow lots get us around on the queens, they're breaking into the main. GG gets called. And Trigger takes game number 2, taking the series 2-0. GG, well played. Well executed all in there by Trigger. Unfortunately, Koht had a hard time reading the situation and preparing as well. The supply block was pretty huge. He just couldn't make any more units. What you saw was what you got. Queens and a handful of wings. He had a roach one. He was trying to produce roaches, but as you can imagine, roaches are very supply inefficient. They take a lot of supply, and you do need a lot of overlords ahead of time if you're going to be making an abundance of roaches. So unfortunately, Koht just wasn't quite ready for that. Because he wasn't expecting the push, he just didn't have the free supply to make an army of roaches. Oh. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Trigger as he takes the series and moves on to the grand finals for a rematch. Oh boy. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. The rematch is upon us.